Yes, it's great to have you on the first edition of Insights for 2025. Insight is returning bigger and better this year. That's a promise, and you can take it to the bank. For starters, we intend to whet your appetite with some juicy content that made the outgone year memorable. And that's exactly what we will be doing throughout the major policies of the Nigerian government and how those policies affected governance. We will also be looking at the challenges during those eventful 365 days. To listen to us online, please visit www.citizenfm.ng. Not forgetting yet, you can follow us on our social media platforms, 3 of them on Facebook at Citizen FM Abuja, on Instagram at Citizen FM 937, and on X at Citizen FM 937. Not forgetting our regular numbers, 3 of them also. You can call us on 0903 2229 797. You can also call us on 0818 2222205 or 0818 2222. So that's how it's going to be on Insights for today. The program will be back after this break. Please don't go away. Alright, thank you for staying tuned. It's still Insight on Citizen 93.7 FM. And as I said, we will be doing an x-ray of President Bola Tinubu's policies of 2024 and how it affected the nation. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu in 2024 left no one in doubt that he was a daring and some would say gritty as a leader. Pandering to sheer sentiments or emotions did not look like his thing. Instead, he was driven more by convictions of his choices. The removal of fuel subsidy from petroleum and villa in Abuja. The floating of the naira to enable it find its level against other currencies, particularly against the dollar, and by extension, was an equally difficult decision the president had to make. These twins' policies aggravated socio-economic challenges and brought about unprecedented economic shocks, even though they have helped in addressing some inefficiencies in the Nigerian economy. No doubt the economic situation in the country found itself very desperate. There was no need postponing the evil day. Tough choices needed to be made. With courage, nevertheless, President Bola Tinubu dared the consequences and took a decision he reckoned was in the best interest of the nation.
We were spending our future necessary. I could see the smugglers fighting back. That you have expenditures that you don't have revenue. I don't want to question people with we have to manage our resources within our means. There's no way out that you give out fuel and allow all the entire neighboring countries as Father Christmas. I don't have any regret whatsoever removing the subsidy. It is necessary. We cashmere upfront. It is part of the fear that is unnecessary. First, no matter how you cut it, is what we must manage. Management is the issue, and we have no choice. But we are headed for slippery slopes that will result in financial disaster for not just for us, but our children and grandchildren. Where is the inheritance? Where is the pathway for prosperity?
Policy space, following key reforms directed and approved by the President, the Central Bank of Nigeria, under the leadership of Yemi Cardoso, introduced major policies that have restored investors' confidence in the Nigerian economy and repositioned it on the path of growth. With the directive of the President to reshape monetary policy to respond to the naira. This singular initiative ensured that the value of the local currency is determined by market forces, leading to price discovery and further serving as incentives for foreign investors. The CBN governor, in a parley with members of the Senate, took time out to explain the policy.
For the sort of country we want, we do need to have an exchange rate that is stable. For a country that we all dream of, we need to have an exchange rate that is stable. And quite frankly, there are short and medium-term measures, but I would say something about the short-term measures, because that really is what bothers most people today, understandably. The medium-term measures have to do with balance of payments and over a period of time, like the sort of things that are being done already, more petroleum resources and diversifying the economic base of the country. That, I believe, will continue. Should be worrying to anybody. And as members of this hallowed chambers, I know that you all see your various constituents regularly, and you'll be hearing a lot of complaints. Again, there are longer-term measures, there are medium-term measures. On the issue of inflation and the issue of price of goods, as I said, the jury is out. Some people will say it's structural, some people will say it's money supply, but let us say it's a combination of both. If indeed inflation, food inflation, we know what to do. We need to ramp up production of food. That's a given. We have to ramp up production of food. And that is an effort that the fiscal side will tackle.
The governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria there. Okay, reaffirming commitment to addressing inherent challenges in tax policy and taxation, President Tinubu inaugurated the Presidential Committee on Fiscal Policy and Tax Reforms, chaired by Taiwo Oyedele. The primary objective was to simplify taxation, enhance revenue collection efficiency, ensure transparency reporting, and promote the effective utilization of tax and other revenues to boost citizens' tax morale, foster a healthy tax culture, and drive voluntary compliance of the reforms.
I had the privilege of leading a team of more than 100 Nigerians, including over 40 students from 22 universities, including head of internal revenue services from the 6 geopolitical zones, including over 20 government institutions, including to be representative, diverse, and inclusive. So we don't leave anybody behind, because you can't understand people's perspectives if you are not wearing their shoes. So we ensured that we have that. And the other thing we did was, beyond that, we also had intentional engagement with different sectors, over 40 of them, including Nigerians with disability, including Governors Forum.
Yes.
We then wrote to the Governors Forum to say we want to visit at least 6 governors in their states. And we chose one governor per geopolitical zone, so we could go to their states, sit down with them and their cabinet and discuss. In addition to that, we had 2 engagements with the National Economic Council across Nigeria at different times. So, of course, I recognize that consultation is important. So in putting these bills together, we were very mindful of where we are today as a country. So there are issues around government revenue and how we are funding our budgets. We spent the past few years in the last administration printing naira, which is part of why we're having inflation today, and it's pushing people into poverty, and low-income earners are struggling to survive. You need to address that problem. We also are in a position to deal with over 60 taxes. Large businesses, many of them are winding down, some are exiting completely. So we can't afford intervention. The best time to not tomorrow. So you shouldn't even wait any longer, because there's a sense of urgency at this time. There are 4 bills, but in fact, different tax laws. Yes, Companies Income Tax Act, Petroleum Profit Tax Act, Personal Income Tax Act, Capital Gains Tax Act, Stamp Duties Act, because we feel like, why should it be so complicated, all of that together in one piece of legislation, and find commonalities? So, when should I pay the tax? Who should I pay to? In what currency should I pay? Why do you repeat it in 7 places? Pay tax. It shouldn't be harder trying to find out how much you pay. It's actually the bill that has Nigerian taxes. That's why we call it Nigerian tax bill. So it's the one that has the value added tax, companies income tax, personal income tax, capital gains tax, excise duty tax, and a few other taxes here and there. But what we did was to focus on the major taxes, because our plan is that all the other nuisance taxes should be repealed, and there are over 50 of them. As a country, why don't we just focus on a few taxes that are broad-based, place significant amount of burden on small businesses, holiday taxes. Those taxes don't yield a lot to the government, but people actually pay a lot, which means a significant leakage to pay is near zero. So you bear the pain without any benefit. So we want to, our hope is that when we are done with our reforms, all the taxes will be down to a single digit.
Taiwo Oyedele, the chairman of the presidency, promised to exempt certain categories of taxpayers, particularly micro, small, and medium enterprises, from taxes as well. The exercise throughout 2024 had continued to face pushbacks from some aggrieved stakeholders, particularly some northern politicians. Efforts by Oyedele's committee to introduce fairness and equity in the value-added tax administration.
And Mr. President, you will have your way when I can have my say. You can use the gavel and I will use my voice. This thing is very been formulated by this matter. It's not like the northern governors jump up and say, okay, we want a little more answer. It started with the VAT. It started with the VAT not only necessarily in the area of generating the VAT, but it also goes to look at, the proposal about the increase in the VAT. We extended our view to the executive arm of government, and it was agreed that there should be a forum to sit down to look at the areas that are creating disagreements in order to resolve them, so that the entire country will remain united.
Yet, in the face of the opposition, the president stood his ground, adding that the proposed new tax regime had come to stay throughout the initiative, although the initiative was still open to further consultations and negotiations.
Tax reform is here to stay. We cannot just continue to do what we were doing with the old broken folks. Late colonial based assumptions in our tax environment. I was once the governor of Lagos State, and I remember what I meant. And I'm proud of what I left and what it is today. It's a large state now, and it's still expanding. The greatest real estate value, you have to put that one into the economic calculations. Every tax institute uniformly, the large one. The federal are not to pay taxes. Always ask for larger so that we can share a larger meal. What is the need? They will still ask for this consultation, no matter you have to do at the government within the limit of my capacity. And I believe I have that capacity. I believe so. That's why I went. It's just not going to be El Dorado for everybody. But the new dawn is here. I'm convinced, and you should be convinced. You should propagate that conviction.
President Bola Tinubu there on the controversial tax reforms. Well, President Bola Tinubu knew from the beginning that the campaign for financial autonomy of local government system was going to set him against the state governors. But after weighing his options, political watchers believe there has been no love lost between the governors and the president. This impression was dispelled recently.
We have a situation clamoring. I'm glad that I asked for this job and the job was given to me. The mandate was given to me by Nigerians. And I will be on this voyage together. I thank all of you. Assalamu alaikum. Yes, it means we just have to work harder and grow more. And we determine how far individual could go. Storage, get belaying, greed. As long as we need to continue to spell this out. My head is about 30-35%. Whatever I'm doing in agriculture is just a mere help to stimulate food production. The job is in your hands. With us, we have no choice. Subnational, particularly. No, I will not fight within us. No, I will drive that change as I wish it. You have the control of your local governments. What you expected of grassroots effectiveness and restoration of their hope is in your hand. There's nothing, no one is among us on the whole everything when it was local government's autonomy. No, just drive the development down there to the local government authorities. Nobody wants to take the control away from you. But collaboration, let's do it together and make sure Nigeria is better off from it. And I assure you, I'm open, I will continue to be open. I have no choice because I asked for this job and you supported me for the mandate. And I want to win more. And through it, we will drive the changes necessary and bring about that prosperity for this country. And take responsibility for whatever we do. There is no one that is more brilliant than us. So it's in your hands to build a proud nation. There should be no state that we go to and not able to be proud of development. There shouldn't be better allocations in terms of the revenue. I take the abuse, but you take the privilege. Let's move on together.
It's still Insight on Citizen 93.7 FM, and today's edition is dedicated to some it affected Nigerians. The program will take a break now, and when we return, continue on some of the highlights.
Hello, Abuja. You are listening to 93.7 Citizen FM, the latest radio station based in Nigeria's capital. Our station seeks to broadcast a broad mix of culture and drama. At Citizen FM, we believe in progressive talk and solution-driven conversation. Our aim is to build a united Nigeria by bringing people of diverse culture together through communication. Enjoy listening to 93.7 Citizen FM. We are more than just a radio station. We are a... This is our journey. We have had our finest moments and our darkest hours. Yet we pull ourselves back from the brink every time. We are a resilient people. We are Nigeria. And when we talk, we share our views on Talk Radio 93.7 Citizen FM. A people united will never.
Thank Thank you for staying tuned. It's still Insight on Citizen 93.7 FM Abuja. Today's episode is dedicated to x-raying some of the major policies of 2024 under the President Bola Tinubu's administration. You can join the program. You can listen to us online by visiting www.citizenfm.ng. You can also follow us on our social media platforms on Facebook at Citizen FM Abuja, on Instagram at Citizen FM 937, and also on X at 22997. You can also call us on 0818-222205 or 0818-222206. On the bill into law, ending months of deliberations between government authorities, labor unions, and private sector. He signed it at the State House in Abuja after the National Assembly had passed the National Minimum Wage Act to increase the national minimum wage from 30,000 naira to 70,000 naira. A National Assembly delegation led by the President of the Senate, Godswill Akpabio, and some members of the House of Representatives were around to witness this groundbreaking event.
I'm excited about the Nigerian worker and the National Minimum Wage Amendment is for the whole nation, for the federal government, for the states, for the local governments, for the private sector, and even for individual employers. So I think this is a great day for the workers. Like I said, this is minimum. This is not maximum. Any employer that has a capacity can pay as from today. That is the implication of this act. It applies all over the nation. And we're excited that this is happening at a time like this. Through President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, a man who cares for the Nigerian workers. And you've seen what we are doing in the National Assembly. When he came, the entirety of the National Assembly moved and passed the bill in one day out of excitement. We felt that this was not something we could delay. So I think the workers are happy. That in terms of implementation, every effort will be made to ensure that there is speedy and full implementation of this new all-important Minimum Wage Act, definitely at the federal level, but also we will encourage that this is a national minimum wage to be implemented across the society, the federal, the state, the local governments, and the private sector. So let us all follow the example of Mr. President of the National Assembly and do what is right by the workers of Nigeria.
The Minister of Finance there, Wale Edun, and the President of the Senate, Godswill Akpabio. Congress and the Trade Union Congress signed a new minimum wage agreement, and this will be reviewed after 3 years.
Of 70,000 happen to be where we are now. But the good thing about it is that you wait for 5 years. It's like you have to now negotiate even 2 times in 5 years with a view to going up.
Then he made a pronouncement of 70,000 naira that by next week that they should put finishing touches and do the transmission to the National Assembly. But why this became a catch? Because we from organized labor, we have been every 3 years, and I said that well.
Leaders of the 2 labor centers in Nigeria there, the president of the NLC, who was chairman, has been a difficult one given the unconstitutional change of governments in some of the neighboring states, including Niger Republic. Notwithstanding the notice of exit, Bola Tinubu, who recently promised to embrace wisdom in addressing the matter, has begun to consider a way of bringing them back into the fold. Performance in 2024, acknowledging his efforts in moving the nation forward, Despite initial challenges, the president's courage and doggedness and that his policies have yet to fully address poverty and insecurity. Some of the key areas where President Tinubu has received praise include his handling of the economy, particularly his decision to remove petrol subsidies and implement a single foreign exchange rate. Some Nigerians weighed in on what they considered some of the greatest challenges the Tinubu administration faced in 2024.
Subsidy and the attendant effects, that it brought on the people, and of course the unification of the naira, which is also almost equal to the removal of the subsidy on the currency too. I think the beautiful thing about it is we're beginning to see the light at the end of the tunnel. We see that Dangote refinery is working now. We see that the NNPC refineries are getting to work, and they're pushing up the capacity of these refineries. We're expecting that the last refinery, which is Kaduna Refinery 2, should get on stream any moment from now. And somehow we've been able to survive post-subsidy. The beautiful thing about it is that we know that somehow we can now start planning and progressing towards a brighter and a better future for the country.
The removal of, to fuel your generator, to fuel your car, everything became really high and tough. It was kind of now hard to afford, These are basic things that everybody was able to afford and get access to, now becoming very high. You buy things and then you start calculating. You buy things of 50,000 naira, you carry it in a small black nylon. I think that was one of the toughest challenge we faced. It was full subsidy. It cost a lot of...
That faced the Tinubu administration is the nationwide protest that took place in August. Especially the protest has managed to weather that storm, and they have put in programs and policies that will address the hardship that people are facing in the light of the removal of subsidy and floating of the naira.
He was supposed to have watched first before he removed, because I discovered that, because of the way he went about it, the way he removed subsidy, if you had gradually removed and face it out, that would be a different thing. He would have put the refinery in place before he removed this subsidy. But the way the federal government and that policy that favor price come down to 300, 500, you will discover that all the filling stations will be reluctant to change that fuel price. But immediately he pronounced it, everybody increased their fuel. It's like Tinubu has realized that what he did and what he said that time, the mistake he made, he's trying to at least tackle it now. And even at that, trust Nigerians. Even when things are being put in the right place, for the price of essential to come down, it will take a while, because we don't have price control in this country.
I would want to think announced palliative measures to cushion the effect, knowing that accordingly, and the ordinary citizen will be worse for it. I expected the administration, in order to cushion the effect, that sudden removal, which took a lot of Nigerians unawares, even though it was necessary, the removal was necessary. Another challenge is the constant attack by those five. It was an avenue to drain the country. It was like a pipe drilling the and they are still fighting back. And you don't expect them to go and sit back. So it's left for the administration that has been cutting the bluff.
The administration faced in 2024 actually came from within, having the internal forces of government accepting and speaking in one voice on the economic, most of the economic policies by them, the insiders. By the insiders, I mean governors, the people in all the executives, both at the federal and state level, and then the legislators on the other hand at federal and state level. There seems to be this division amongst the...
His administration's effort to tackle insecurity have also been acknowledged. Odds vary widely depending on individuals' perspectives and expectations.
On security, I can say that security has improved significantly. We have not witnessed any major conflict that we used to have, particularly in north central Nigeria, in states like Benue, in states like Plateau, Nasarawa, and other areas. I think we are grateful to God for that and the administration. The issues of kidnapping, particularly along Kaduna Abuja Express, it is still work in progress. We still have some issues, particularly in states like Katsina, in Zamfara, in Sokoto, and Niger. But I think the issues are being addressed.
In recess, President Tinubu, Ahmed Bola Tinubu administration actually face serious challenges. Why? Because the previous government, the government of Buhari, left so many things undone. Tinubu actually met on ground. And to face those kind of a thing, it will take a man with a serious. Tinubu has to tackle those things. And to tackle it, it requires serious understanding. For me, Tinubu actually faced a tough time. But when it comes to rating his administration, right now, Tinubu's fighting insecurity. Let's give it that credit. Because it's no longer the way it was before. Like in my area in Abuja, I know what it is during that time of President Buhari. But now,
over the years, are gradually going down. The administration has taken a bold step to fight insecurity head on. They may not be doing much in terms of publicity because of the technicalities involved in security. They may not be coming out to say a lot about what they have done, but we all know that the issue of insecurity is going down, is gradually going into extinction. The dissemination, if you are opportune to those who are opportune to be there, to know the carnage the Nigerian military is unleashing on these elements, will not but commend the determination of the administration. Before now, the immediate past administration, we know the rate at which the insecurity issue was, getting to an alarming stage where even down to railway, the trains were being hijacked, people kidnapped, people coming in, these elements come even were encroaching into the FCT, going to kidnap families. Some journalists were even kidnapped alongside their families. But since the administration came on board, they took these guys head on. And the peace that we are gradually enjoying in FCT today and in Nigeria as a whole, as far as insecurity is concerned, is as a result of the effort of the administration. Yes, I agree. They may not be hooray for now. But are they working? Yes. Are they achieving results? Yes. Is peace gradually returning to the country? Yes. Do we hear about kidnapping of families here and there that was gradually becoming a daily norm in the country in the recent past? No.
Well, they have actually not met my expectations, and especially with the current level of inflation. The spending power of Nigerian citizens is at rock bottom at the moment. So even if you are earning $1 million as wages in a month, that 1 million is not even able to afford you items in volume in the value of 100,000 a couple of years back, which is actually a very big challenge. So we have people who are actually just working to get by rather than working to earn a living. And there was a popular saying towards the end of last year that the cost of living has actually grown beyond the living. So I still believe that the situation can be salvaged, but then everybody from the executive to the legislator to the judiciary, they all have to put their hands on the deck and come up with policies that will really work. Thank you.
A cross-section of Nigerians, they are weighing in on their assessment of the president's policies in 2024. Well, as even on cue, President Bola Tinubu is assuring and expectant citizens of his desire to meet up their yearnings. He believes better days are in the horizon as 2025 progresses.
2025 is a very promising year. Let me first of all thank Nigerians for having confidence in me to be the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. I'm very, very proud of that. And I don't want you to think I will take you for granted at any given time. I'm here to serve. It's all about service. And I will do it to bone my heart. I seek your cooperation at all the time. I seek your understanding. I understand the struggle you've been through, the economic problems. It's just 18 months that I have taken over the reign of this country. The promise is there. We are on the right path. We stay the course. We maintain focus. We share love with each other. Let us believe in ourselves and in our country. Tomorrow, we will bring a glorious dawn.
President Bola Tinubu there with a message of hope. Ultimately, the assessment of President Tinubu's presidency in 2024 will depend on how one weighs the various challenges and achievements of his administration. However, it's clear that Nigerians are watching his progress closely and will be expecting to see continued efforts in addressing the country's pressing problems in 2025. Well, that's our package on Insight today. Join us tomorrow again, same time, when we will be x-raying the defense sector in 2024. My name is Lawrence Moite. Enjoy the